Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Tony Fernandes, Group Chief Executive Officer, AirAsia. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Sri Wong Chun Wai, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Star Media Group. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Rosli Yusof, Vice President International and Corporate Communications, Management and Science University, MSU. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we were so excited. I was particularly excited to have Tan Sri today, and I forgot our running order, so my mistake. I'm Anis from Star Media Group, and we are really excited to see such an incredible turnout today. Please give yourself a round of applause once again, please. We would like to express our deepest appreciation to the management and Science University, MSU, for hosting our Power Talks in this splendid performing arts theatre. Ladies and gentlemen, Power Talks business series presented by Star Media Group is not only our way of connecting with our readers, but also rewarding them with the opportunity for an up-close and personal session with captains of industries and high-profile leaders from the corporate world. Personalities that have made Malaysia proud. Listen to their inspiring company philosophies, their passion and drive for business. Learn from their mistakes and how to overcome challenges. Adopt their winning strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A session, so please do stick around for that with our guest speaker. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to welcome our moderator, Mr. M. Shamugam, Specialist Editor of Star Biz on Stage, to introduce our world-renowned speaker for today, Mr. Shan.
Thank you, Anis. A very good morning, everybody. You can hear me at the top? Oh, it's great. And once again, a warm welcome to the Star Power Talk business series. There's a saying, the difference between men and boys is the price of their toys. Now, when I say toys, I literally mean toys, toys that you buy for your children, for your kids, okay? So don't get an imagination running up and wild. It generally means that, as boys grow up to become men, their passion, their interests, does not change very much. Sri Tony Fernandes' fascination with planes started at the tender age of 6. I'm told that he had told his father that he wanted to own an airline. And his father replied, "Hey, my son, if you can get past the doorman of the Hilton Hotel, I'll be happy." Okay, well, in his late 30s, Sri went on to own an airline, he and his partners. And I dare say it is not any ordinary airline. To me, it's the mother of all airlines. There are so many things that AirAsia can be associated with. From being the single biggest customer in KLIA2, you'll see the AirAsia planes at the LCCT, and as well as being probably Malaysia's best-known brand ambassador at the global stage. But the biggest contribution that Sri and AirAsia have given to the society is to make air travel an experience for the ordinary man on the street. The tagline, "Now everyone can fly," has really cut through the masses. Prior to AirAsia's existence in 2001, air travel was an experience, I would say, that enjoyed by a very small segment of the population, less than 10%. But today, most people would have taken a flight somewhere thanks to AirAsia. Without doubt, the airline has changed the industry landscape, not only in this country, but also the region as well. And ladies and gentlemen, the journey started not far from where we are seated here today. It started at the Glenmary Golf and Country Club, which was owned by the Highcom Group then. It was 2001, and Tony and his partner, Dato' Kamarudin and all, they had an idea to start an airline. Okay, and I'm told that it was during one of the meetings at the club, he bumped into one of the directors of AirAsia then, and he told them, "Hey, I'm interested in an airline, And Highcom, which is effectively an automotive group, was more than happy to part with the airline because he was bleeding them. Highcom had 2 planes on lease from Boeing, and the lease rates were when the ringgit was at 250 to the US dollar. Now, we all know in 2001, the ringgit was already pegged to 380 to the US dollar. And they were bleeding, and they were just prepared to let it go. So Sri and his partners took on the plane then. Then came 9/11. Bingo. Air travel dropped. Demand for air travel dropped. Leasing rates dropped, and so did, all these manufacturers had so much of planes lying idle. But, it was more than just 9/11 that has taken AirAsia to where it is today. It is Sri's vision and passion and his drive of AirAsia to take on the incumbents in their own turf and under their own rules. I think you all know what I mean. It's the full service carriers. I personally know he fought many battles in the last 15 years. I know I have gone through with him many battles. Okay? And it was, and he knew that, that he had given something. If he gives something to the market will take it. He knew that. For instance, after the Bali bombing, AirAsia dropped prices to $10. That was a gem. There are many more stories like this that you'll hear from Sri. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sri Tony Fernandes to share his story on AirAsia's success. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Morning, everybody. Oh, there are people up top. Hi. Did you pay cheaper? There's just hot seats down here. Anyway, thanks, Shan. You did my whole speech, so I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about now. I battled with him many times as well. But there we go. Morning, everyone. I'm going to try and keep this, because I mean, many of you know the story anyway, so I'm going to kind of keep it quite tight and really allow you to ask me as many questions throughout the morning, sorry. I just came back from Bali. I was sitting on the beach, looking at the beautiful sea, and my PA was texting me, "What time are you catching the flight?" And I thought, my God, why am I coming back to see Chun Wai? But having seen all of you here, and I heard so many of you came early, I'm thrilled that I came back, and I hope this will be of some use to you. And to make it of as most use, I'd like you to ask me as many questions as possible and try and share some of my experiences and some of my ideas. So I came from the music business. I had no knowledge of airlines, which is probably the first thing I want to tell you guys, that sometimes in Malaysia, you know, we're kind of, from the moment we're born, we're kind of told what we're going to do. And I see many parents here, so I'm going to change my speech a little bit to say, parents, please allow your kids to do what they want to do. Don't live your life through them. See, the wife's already telling the father. So, how many kids do you have? Three. How old are they? Okay. So I tell you what, I'm going to give you guys a free holiday. On the promise that you tell your kids that you will support them in whatever they do. Deal? Okay. Where do you want to go? Okay. You can take your kids and your wife to Mauritius. Okay? Okay. And Chun Wai will pay for your hotel. Okay? Oh, he's not agreeing. Looking at this computer, I know why. So, why I say that is because, you know, every Malaysian kid's supposed to be lawyer, doctor, accountant, etc., etc. And from the moment I came out of my mother's womb, I was supposed to be a doctor, right? I had a stethoscope around me as a one-day-old a boy, because my father was a doctor, and so I was always meant to be a doctor. And at 15 years old, when we were supposed to do O-levels, I told my parents, I'm not going to do physics, chemistry, and biology. And they kind of looked at me and said, no way, you got to do it. You know, you have to be a doctor. And I said, I don't want to be a doctor. And there was like World War 2015 in the house. And they said, we're going to force you to do it. I said, if you force me, I will fail. And of course, they didn't believe me. So they made me do physics, chemistry, and biology. I wanted to do history, economics, and biology. So for 2 years, I did nothing. I played sport, I had a great time. I worked for biology because I wanted to do that. And I failed gloriously in my exams. I got an A for biology and 2 Fs. I just wrote my name on the paper and fell asleep. So I got my initials, Anthony Francis Fernandes, on my A-level results. And my parents then decided that they weren't going to tell me what to do. And in fact, my father disowned me for a while. I went to America for a year. I couldn't get into university, obviously, with those grades. I went to America. I started in New York, and I worked my way down to Miami. And then I did the dumbest thing you could ever do as a Malaysian, right? I was using Greyhound bus to move around America. And I looked at the map. I wanted to go to San Francisco, and I had one more ticket of my 30-day pass or whatever. And I looked at my Greyhound and I thought, oh, wow, let's go to San Francisco. It's not that far away. 3.5 days later, I arrived in San Francisco. And I realized America was a very large country, and I was a total asshole for not even thinking about how far America was, how big America was. And all these things kind of formulated in my mind about owning an airline, right? I always Always loved planes. My love for planes came from my mother, actually. She used to sell Tupperware. She was an amazing woman. She could sell ice to an Eskimo, you know. We'd go around Malaysia, she'd be selling Tupperware. And the power of communication and the power of meeting people is probably AirAsia's success, and I learned it from my mother. And I keep telling people, communication, communication, communication is the most important thing and most important quality that you can have as a person. And I could see how, you know, she could motivate people to sell Tupperware. I was like, wow, this is just plastic. And she would get people excited about Tupperware. I could never work it out. And we'd be going around Malaysia. She was a musician as well, so she'd compose songs, right? We'd be playing songs. I got a Tupper feeling up in my head, sell more Tupperware, sell more Tupperware, sell more. And I'll be playing the piano. I was like 6 years old, sitting on yellow pages, reaching the pedals. And we'd fly all over Malaysia in MSA, which shows you my age. And I loved planes. I loved the fact, I loved airports. I was a plane spotter. I just loved it always. So, you know, when I took that Greyhound bus, it also sat in my mind about, God, there must be a cheaper way to fly, so to travel. So I did all these things. I did fantastic jobs. You know, I was third relief organ player at the Boston Red Sox. It's a baseball ground. You know, you play 3 chords. Nee, 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 nee. And then all the Americans would go crazy, right? But all they ever did was eat. And they never really watched the game. So I did all these kind of jobs. Then I went to Australia for a year. And I taught in a school, mathematics and history. Those poor kids have never actually recovered from, from my lessons. I was in a different body, more like Chun Wai's body now. I don't know whether he's on a diet or it's very stressful being the editor of The Star and having to write the kind of articles he writes. Don't worry, I won't say any more. I was there because I played hockey for England and cricket, so I was there to coach sports. So 2 years I accomplished nothing. And then I came back and thought, well, I've really accomplished nothing. I came back and retook my A-levels, got good grades, went to the LSE, and also did no work in the LSE. I thought university was for meeting people, understanding life, and wasn't particularly focused on studying. Now, probably the dean of MSU is saying, what are you talking about, Tony? But I wouldn't recommend that to all the students here. But I just thought, you know, I remember they asked me to join the Malaysia-Singapore Society. And I said, no, I'm not going to join because I'm going to live with you for the rest of my life. I want to meet other people. And then I think that's the message that I'm giving to all of the students here, is that this is the best time of your life. You got to experience things, you got to learn things, you got to go out there and meet new people. Don't be in that comfort zone that you enjoy being. Push yourself out of the comfort zone and experience new things. Don't just hang around with people that make you feel comfortable, because this is how you're going to form yourself as you go forward. So I used to hang out with Brazilians, with Russians, with everything. I hardly went to class. And it showed in my degree at the end of the day. In LSE, everyone's super smart, right? So whole, you know, at graduation, everyone got first class, and mostly all Malaysians, all the Chinese girls going up there to get first, then 2 1s, 2 2s, third, and then there was me. The only person in the LSE for 12 years to get a pass. But that's all I needed, right? I thought university was more than just getting a degree. And that's the message I give to everyone here, and especially to parents. Expose them, allow them to see lots of things, allow them to meet people, and never, ever tell them what to do. Advise them, but let their heart go where they want to go, because that's the key message. So I became an accountant, which was the toughest thing I have ever done. Auditing blew my brain apart. It was really the most boring job ever in my life. Apologies to any auditors here, which obviously there are a few. Who's an auditor here? Don't worry, I won't embarrass you. Please stand up. Have you regretted your life for the last 20 years? No, I'm only joking. Accounting was a fantastic... Where are you doing your auditing? Where? Ernst & Young. Oh, okay. Don't worry, I won't say any more. All the business section getting nervous. I wonder which clients you audited. Anyway, going back, auditing is fine. But I didn't like it. Just for me, it wasn't my thing. You know, you have to add up all these things and tick, cross-cast. I just used to tick everything. Mind you, Ernst & Young do that on some clients as well. So, where were we? The star's going to regret ever inviting me here. This is for making them leave Bali to come here. So I left, but accounting is a fantastic profession. You cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong with accounting because wherever you go, there's numbers. Whatever you do, you're going to have numbers. So it was a great degree for me. I qualified as an accountant. I hated it so much that I passed everything first time. And then I was a musician, so I wanted to join the music industry. So I wrote to every company, and every company told me to go to hell, except one, which was Virgin. So I went to Virgin, and they rejected me as well. It was pretty consistent. And as I was walking out, Richard Branson was walking in. And this is my second lesson to everyone here, and like the man who's doing something fantastically cool with homes, building nomadic homes, is that chances don't come very often. And we Malaysians, we sit there, we analyze, we ask our father, grandfather, grandaunt, etc. And then by that time, it's gone. It's too late. So for me, it was now or never. Do I be a shy Malaysian and just smile at Richard Branson and never see him again? Or do I open my famous big mouth and say something? So I went with the latter and I said hello to Richard Branson, how are you? Started talking to him. And then he said, why are you here? And I said, I came for an interview of which you guys rejected me. And he said, okay, you seem an interesting guy. Let's have a coffee. So we sat down and had a coffee, and he said, there's something about you which is really special. And I remember he told Anita Gabriel the story in The Star. That's my first plug for The Star. She went all the way to Necker Island to interview him. And he said, I'm going to give you a job. And so he gave me the job. And I was financial controller of Virgin Television, which I was like 24 at the time. It was an amazing opportunity for me to get that kind of job. And so that's the second lesson to all the young people here, to all the old people, to all the middle-of-the-road people. Chances don't come very often. Grab that chance. Us Malaysians, we analyze too much and ask too many questions, etc., etc. And my whole life has just been about taking an opportunity. As Shan said, it's not just about the successes, it's about the failures. And I've had many failures. But I'd rather sit there and try than not do it at all. And not be there at 60 years old. I used to say 55, but I'm now coming to 55. So I'm stretching it. Not sit there at 60 years old and think, wow, I wish I did it. You know, because you got one chance. You can't press the rewind button and say, I wish I did it. So grab those chances when they come. So I worked for Virgin Television. It was, you know, I walked into Virgin Television, it was like a big party, right? The balance sheet didn't balance. There was like marijuana in the cash book. It was like, whoa, what is this? And very, very quickly, I turned around Virgin Television, and then they promoted me very quickly. And Richard Branson says to me one day, hey, I'm going to start an airline. And I said, please give me some of the drugs you are taking, because you cannot start an airline. But he did, and that was him, right? He just wanted to do it. He had a terrible experience with British Airways, and so he wanted to start an airline. I knew he didn't have enough money, so I decided to leave Virgin, and I joined Warner Music. Because I thought whoever, he would sell Virgin Records in the end, and they would fire us all, because he didn't have enough money for the airline. I was right, because he sold Virgin Records to EMI, whereas wrong was that Virgin people took over EMI. So I joined Warner Music, and I was in the finance department down in the sub-basement of Warner Music International. They put all the accountants in the sub-basement. So that's why accountants at AirAsia are treated very nicely, because I knew what it was like to be in the sub-basement, right? Second lesson, you got to do what your heart tells you, and you got to do what's right. So I was doing these reports, which I knew nobody was going to read. It was garbage. It was rubbish, right? Not like what BK Sidhu writes. Very intelligent, deep, meaningful reports, unless she criticizes AirAsia, which is most of the time. See, they didn't laugh, BK, which means they agree. Where was I? So I was doing these reports, right, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot write this. So I went to my boss and I said, can I change a report? And he went, no, this is how we do it, and you got to do it. And so I told my girlfriend, I'm going to change the report, and I'll probably be fired the next day. But I cannot take someone's money and do a report that no one's going to read, right? So I went and bought my own software, Harvard Graphics. None of you know it, but go search it. It's probably in Museum Negara somewhere. And I redid the report, and I sent it up to my boss. It used to be a 20-page report, and I cut it down to 2 pages, put a few graphs in there, etc. The next morning I came to work, and I saw everyone round the computer. And they were all looking at my report, and I thought, okay, I'm toast. I'll be fired now. I said, why are you looking at my report? He said, oh, the chairman wants to see you because he says it's the best report he's ever received. And so then I was sent up from the sub-basement to the 6th floor, where all the gods of Warner Music is. A little bit like Star. Chun Wai is right at the top floor, roof terrace. Have you ever been to his office? You can land a 747 in it, actually. It's very large. And this is all making sure that you don't invite me back again when I'm in Bali. So I went up to see, and this guy was a legend, right? Nesui Etigun and Stephen Shrimpton. And they said, this is fantastic. And I was talking about my love for music. And I've been very, very passionate about music for a long time. So they said, hey, you're 26 now. Why don't you go back to Malaysia and be general manager? And, maybe after 5-6 years, we'll make you CEO. Second lesson, I didn't ring my grandmother, grandfather, father, grandaunt, whatever. I didn't ask the salary. I didn't ask anything because it was such an amazing opportunity. I just grabbed it. I said, yep, I'm on the next flight. I'd never worked in Malaysia. I hadn't really lived in Malaysia. My parents didn't like me. They sent me to boarding school when I was 12 years old. And so I never really, for those of you who wonder why I don't speak Malay, it's because I was never taught. And so I thought, great, I just grabbed it. And so I came back to Warner Music Malaysia as a 26-year-old or whatever, as general manager. The CEO was an Austrian guy who was very nice, but really wasn't doing very much. And he allowed me to kind of do what I want to do. And in about 6 months, I changed a lot of things. I signed Zainal Abidin, Sheila Majid. I signed Ella. And, we were huge in domestic music. The bosses all came down to see me, and sometimes Americans are very ruthless. And they said, oh, wow, you've done an amazing job in 6 months. They fired the Austrian guy and made me CEO. So I was 27 years old, and I was CEO of Warner Music Malaysia. And I had 12 great years in Warner. I did dangdut music. I was the king of dangdut music. That's why we fly to Bandung, by the way. No airline ever flew to Bandung. I used to go and record my albums there. We did Nasheed music with Raihan. Everyone laughed at us when we did Raihan. And that's the biggest selling album in the history of Malaysia. We sold 2 million records in Raihan. I met Kamarudin through RAP Music, and I had 12 great years. And so you see the repeating formula. One, I did what I wanted to do. I never let anyone tell me what I should do, and I did what I believe, which sometimes gets you into trouble. But I think it's much better to do what you believe than just take a salary or do things that you don't actually believe in. And I grabbed opportunities. So if there's one thing to take away from here, it's that. Then I did 12 years at Warner Music Malaysia, and then became the regional guy and all that kind of stuff. And then I went through 3 mergers. And, it was Warner Communications, then it became Time Warner, then it became CNN merge, and then finally AOL Time Warner. And I was like, oh my God, that's one merger too many for me. And I was sitting in Rockefeller Plaza, and they were talking about the great AOL Time Warner merger. And I was really thinking, these guys really on something special because they're mad. And I made my career on one thing. They said, Tony, what do you reckon the stock price should be in a year's time? This was 2001. And the stock price was $80. And I thought to myself, wow, listening to you, if it's still $80, you're doing well. Time Warner came up with EBITDA, earnings before everything you don't like. And then they call it cash flow, right? What about the $8 billion in the balance sheet? So Steve Kay says to me, Tony, what do you reckon the stock price should be in a year's time? And I thought, well, listening to you, as I said, if it's that price, you're doing great. So I said $90. And it was 80 at the time. He went, wrong, boy, $500. And I thought, right, I'm quitting. These guys are nuts. So I went to my boss. I sold my stock options at $78. I didn't have many. And I went to my boss and I said, I quit. He was super excited because he always wanted to get rid of me because he thought I was after his job, which I was. And he paid me to leave. And so I went back. I quit. I was sitting in a bar having a Ribena in London. And then I saw Stelios of EasyJet. I went to Luton Airport, and I thought, I'm going to start an airline. Now, there's a very fine line between brilliance and stupidity. It's really, really, really narrow. But I thought I was young enough. If I failed, I'll come work in the Star as a business writer, business editor like Sham, or become an accountant at Ernst & Young. But I wanted to give it a go. So the rest is history. I roped in Kamarudin and Aziz Baka, all from the music industry. Because no one with any brains would really have believed me that I'm going to revolutionize airlines, right? Can you imagine me going to Chunwai and say, can you invest in my airline? So that's the story of how I came. It's a very, very long introduction. But I saw so many parents here and so many young people here that I wanted to tell you that really you have one life. And really, we live in a fantastic country. There's lots and lots and lots of things wrong with it. But it gave me the opportunity to be what I am. And I grabbed it. And so I tell you all to grab the opportunities. And if you want to make change, make the change. Don't just talk about it. Go out there, do something, and make a difference. And I think the strength of Malaysia, and that's why I'm wearing this thing, Star didn't pay me to wear it, is that I believe our strength is our multiculturalism, is the fact that we're the only country that has such diversity in culture. And why AirAsia is what it is because we have Malay, Chinese, Indians, others, whatever we are, all working together. And now we've become an ASEAN airline. And that, I think, is our biggest strength. We have all types of Chinese here, right? Hokkien, Teochew, Mandarin, whatever. Any language, we got it. We got every type of Indian here, which can be a problem. And we have every type of Malay as well. And we have East Malaysia, etc. It's our strength. And the quicker the leaders of the world see that, leaders of our country see that's our strength, the better for all of us. And I applaud the Star for trying to raise the awareness in these weird times that really the strength of Malaysia is our diversity. So we bought AirAsia, as Shan said, for RM1. I remember going to DRB HiCom and I said, I want to buy AirAsia. And they said, sure, you can have it tomorrow. And I thought, oh, interesting. And then they said, how much do you want to buy it for? And I cheekily said, RM1. And they said, yeah, sure, you can still have it tomorrow. I thought, damn, I should have said, pay me to take this airline away. But DRB HiCom were fantastic. Really, they were fantastic guys. They wanted us to succeed. Me and Kamarudin and Aziz had no money, really. And so we bought the airline on September the 8th, 2001, subject to due diligence. We said subject to due diligence because me and Kamarudin were remortgaging our house to get some extra cash, which, by the way, was rejected by Standard Chartered. So we never got the remortgage. And the two of us had about 1 million ringgit to start an airline. Today, officially on the Star, I want to put all rumors that there was some sugar daddy, sugar mummy behind AirAsia. AK is not Ananda Krishnan. Okay? Live on Star. I wish I had a sugar daddy or a sugar mummy, you know, but we didn't have one. So AK was picked by DRB HiCom. When they started AirAsia, AA was already taken, American Airlines, AB was someone else, AC was Air Canada. And unfortunately for me and Kamarudin, they picked AK. So for the last 15 years, people think Ananda Krishnan owned this airline. Believe me, he doesn't. It would have made our lives a lot easier. So he probably wouldn't, actually. But that's why it's AK. So we bought AirAsia for RM1. If you ever come to the AirAsia office, it was so bad, actually. When they asked us to pay the RM1, me and Kamarudin didn't have RM1 in our wallet. So DRB HiCom, Dato' Tik actually lent us the RM1. That's a true story, and that RM1 sitting in our office was actually his RM1. And we paid RM1 for the debt, which actually he paid as well. So we took over subject to due diligence, but they allowed us to get into the airline and start turning it round, even though we didn't own it. And that was fantastic of them. And the condition of the sale was it'd be subject to us getting rid of a parent guarantee from GE. So they said, you can have it for RM1 if you can remove our guarantee. So DRB HiCom had guaranteed the 2 planes, so that if AirAsia defaulted, it would go to the parent company to pay. So they were like, if you can just get rid of that parent guarantee, we're happy, you can have it for RM1. So I went off to GE Land and met like 2,000 risk analysts, right? I mean, there was a risk analyst for everything, the sun, the moon, et cetera, et cetera. And one guy said, you're not exactly a Swiss Air credit. And I went, yeah, we're not. 2 months later, Swiss Air went bust, by the way. And then I did this big speech, which has become very famous in GE University, about taking a risk. That we are 2 planes out of your 2,600 planes. If we fail, take the planes back. But why not? And I did a whole thing on portfolio risk. My financial management and accounting was very useful for that. So I told them, we're in Acon. Take a risk. You know, you've got all these stable credits here. Take an entrepreneurial risk. If we fail, you repossess the 2 planes. If we win, I remember saying, one day I could buy 1,000 engines off you. Of course, they laughed. And actually now we have bought 1,000 engines off them. And that has become a very famous speech. Actually, Irene and my head of commercial is just there doing a course with them in Crotonville. And so GE said, okay. And then DRB HiCom were thrilled. And on December the 8th, 2001, we took over AirAsia with 250 terrified staff. You know, these staff were like, they were owned by DRB HiCom. Now they were owned by guys who used to run Anugerah Industry Music. So it was like, not very convincing kind of story. But that was it. And I think, I haven't seen this presentation properly. Benji did it. Yeah, that's it. That's me and Kamaruddin on the first day, you know, with AirAsia. That was the old AirAsia logo. And that's in Subang Airport, my most favorite airport in the world. All right, okay, don't worry. I know I'm low cost, but I know how to use this. I'm only stretching out. Sorry, high-tech star. So, where was I? That was Subang Airport, as I said. Shan said AirAsia was born in Glenmurray, which it really was. And our airport was just down the road. That's where we started. 2 planes, 254 staff. Right? And I'm going to tell you some of the early day stories, because the rest you kind of know. You know, we said we're going to stop food because we couldn't afford the food. And I said we'll sell food. And the day before the first flight that we took over as a low-budget airline, actually they had business class, which we kind of closed down. And my cabin crew said to me, "Hey, Tony, I thought we were going to sell food." I said, yeah, we are. They said, "Well, we have no food." I said, "Oh, yeah, forgot." So we all, 5 of us, drove down to Carrefour. And we bought the food, right? Sandwiches, Coca-Cola, whatever, and then brought it back. And they said, how much do we sell it for? And I said, "Oh, sell it for whatever you want." You know, we're all Tupperware salespeople. And they were honest cabin crew now. We don't always have such honesty now. Country's changed a bit. But they were honest cabin crew, and that was how in-flight food started. So that is the humble beginnings of AirAsia. For about 1 week, we were buying food from Carrefour, marking it up tremendously, and selling it to all of you. But now we've progressed to our own coffee brand, the founder there, Tea & Co., et cetera, et cetera. We've done lots of great things over the last 14 years. So I spent a long time on the introduction because, you know, it said here, inform, inspire, innovate. I want you to really believe that you can do anything, because you're looking at everyone involved in AirAsia, you're looking at a live example of what you can do if you put your mind to it. There was no sugar daddy, there was no sugar mommy, you know, there was nothing, there was no experience. I didn't know how to run an airline. I sold records, I sold dangdut music. I only flew on planes. I only knew stewardesses. I didn't know how to run an airline. I didn't know anyone in the press. I remember the first interview, and I think BK was there, but she didn't ask the question. They said, "Will you be here in 3 months' time?" I think it was Utusan, Malaysia. And I said, "I don't know. I really don't know. Come back and see us in 3 months." Because I wasn't going to make any big predictions of being this large, huge. It was survival. It was day-to-day survival. Every day I'd call Raja Azmi, my CFO, and say, "How much cash do we have?" And my biggest fear was not of failing. My biggest fear was to tell 254 staff that they were out of a job. That was the thing that terrified me. Because under DRB HiCom, they were always going to get their salary. But if we failed, they'd be out of a job. And that scared me the most of anything. So I hope some of you will be inspired. I hope some of you will allow your kids to be inspired and do things, because you can do anything you want to do. You can do anything you want to do. Charlene over there, you know, her husband was buying me duck rice in Hong Kong, and he does strange kind of businesses, but she's very smart. And I was looking for someone to do coffee with me.
And so I heard her talking about coffee, and she was very proud about coffee. So I said, why don't you go and start a coffee company for us? And 3 weeks later, Tea & Co. was born. And this housewife who just bought diamonds and Birkin handbags and spent Douglas's money suddenly had to work very hard. And she loved it. And she's very passionate, and she drives my staff crazy because she wants to win. And so I hope that all of you here will take a little bit out of this and say you can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't, because you can. Passion and energy is a quality no one can substitute. So, and AirAsia is live and true. There is no exaggeration, there is no in-between stuff. And as Shan said, there's been millions of battles, millions. We've been through every battle known to mankind, but we're still around and still growing because we got great people, which is what the major of this part of this presentation is. Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you. I should use this with BK Sidhu. Write this. So we changed AirAsia. Just want to tell you a little bit about branding. I think branding is super important. Most Malaysian companies don't spend enough time on branding. Most finance people don't look at branding. They want to see this. I hate this word, ROI. It's a stupid word. And for me, branding takes many years to build up. You may invest now, but you'll get the return 5 or 6 years later. So to all the entrepreneurs out here, to all the businessmen, put some budget towards marketing and branding, right? Because too many great ideas never get heard about. And let me tell you the music business. See, Chun Wai can be a fantastic singer, right? Fantastic singer. Actually, he's not, but he can be. Let's assume he is. If he doesn't have a great song, so what? His voice could be the greatest, but he needs a great song, right? So that's step one. You got to have the right product. And in AirAsia, we thought we had a great product. Step two, you got to make sure people know about that product. So that's where marketing, promotion, and branding comes about. Step three is great song, great artist, you all want to buy it. Where do you buy it from? Distribution. So whether you're running a fish shop, whether you're running the Star, whether you're running a music company, it's those three things that are very important in delivering your business objectives. Number one, product. You got to have something that people want. Number two, you got to let them know what that product is. And number three, they got to find a way to buy it, right? So I decided our product was going to be on the internet because I wanted to cut the travel agents out. Because I knew travel agents wouldn't support us. Because we're tiny, right? They would support MAS. And at the end of the day, they would use us to keep pushing the price down. So I wanted to build and control my own consumers. So we went to the internet. And everyone thought we were crazy to go to the internet. They said Malaysians won't use their credit card. They don't do this, don't do that, etc. But I knew Malaysians very well. Put a fare low enough, they will go to the website. Okay, screw the credit card, security, whatever. Grandma will ask grandson to buy for her if she doesn't know how to use the website, right? And so we were the first airline in Asia to use the website. And I saw my guys still getting close to travel agents, but it's a drug, right? They couldn't cut the links with the travel agents. And I wanted to control our customer. I thought it was the only way we could grow. So I was very radical, and I switched off all the GDSs one day. I literally went to the office and switched them all off and tripled our advertising that day. And that's how now, until today, 70% of our sales is still on the internet, and AirAsia.com is probably one of the biggest websites in Asia. So we created a product that people wanted, we got the distribution going, and we changed the brand. We saw the Star and thought, okay, let's be red as well. That kind of semi-successful newspaper, but good color. No, very, very successful newspaper.
very successful media group. Actually, your station's called Red, isn't it? So red's a fantastic color. I tried really hard not to be red because everyone thinks I want to be Richard Branson, which I don't. He almost killed himself last night, again. I have no interest of going to the moon, right? Or flying on a balloon at 36,000 feet. I mean, what would you do in the moon anyway when you got to the moon? No star, no, no music, no red FM. It'd be very boring. So I stay on Malaysian soil, never a dull day. And I changed the color to red. Okay, we dropped the second thing on branding. We didn't want to have two images. AirAsia had the bird and the name. So if you think of the biggest brands in the world, there's only one image. Actually, if you think of the star uses their masthead as the logo. There's only one image. If I say star, you know exactly the image. If I say Nike, you know the swoosh. If I say Coca-Cola, you know it's Coca-Cola in italics. There's only one image in your mind. So why waste your money on two images? So I dropped the bird. As you know, I've said many, many times, I do not know why airlines are obsessed with animals. We have birds, we have kangaroos, we have tigers. You know, actually the tiger one in Singapore should be called Pussycat. It's so small. It's anything but a tiger now. It's a little cat. Come here, Pussycat. Come do what Uncle Tony wants you to do. And in Malaysia, we have one named after an insect called firefly. Really stupid name. Because firefly is the shortest living insect in the insect kingdom. Okay? And now Eddie Leong is working for us anyway. So we changed to red. Oh yeah, sorry. That was the old AirAsia, and that was the new AirAsia. Don't look at the girls, Chunwai. It's always bad to sit in the front row, by the way, when I'm doing a speech. But you see, the simple use of color changes everything, right? Now, all those girls there, there's a story there, right? So if you look at all the cabin crew in Singapore Airlines, they all look the same. They're all manufactured in some factory in Toa Payoh, right? They had the same lipstick, same nail polish, same fake smile, you know. If there were no women here, I'd say something else as well. And, you know, they all look the same. So the first thing I did to our girls, I said, wear your hair how you want. You know, how can one person, cabin crew manager, who's actually the niece of the dean here, tell 2,000 girls and guys how to look? I said, you know how best to look. You do whatever you want. Color your hair, perm it, long, short, whatever, right? But feel happy. I want individuals working in my company, not an army of clones, right? Actually, I'm sure someone in Singapore Airlines saw that Star Wars movie, because they're all like those white soldiers, right? They're all exactly the same. After 6 episodes, you finally saw someone's face from the clone, the black guy who defected to the other side. We have many SQ defectors in AirAsia now. So we allowed them to wear. And then I said, radical, I said, you go design the uniform. You're going to use it for half your life. You design what you want to wear. So rather than some French guy that no one's ever heard of, design it, you go design it. And one of the cabin crew designed it, who's still working for us. And that's how AirAsia started. And if you look at two of those girls came from MAS. If you look at them at MAS and you look at them with us, it's two different people completely, because they're individuals and they're happy with themselves. They're coming to work looking like how they would like to look, as opposed to being told by the factory manager in Toa Payoh how to look, right? So these are the simple things in branding that we did to kind of change AirAsia. Oops. And we've grown unbelievably. We started with 200,000 passengers in the first year, and this year
we will carry 60 million passengers, which is unbelievable. You know, in 15 years, we now carry twice the population of Malaysia, which is pretty cool. And we've started all these airlines up, Thailand, Indonesia, AirAsia X. AirAsia X is a great story, right? So Branson threw me a party in Necker. So I made a lot of money and signed a lot of artists. And we were sitting on the beach late at night, and he says to me, "Hey, Tony, how come we haven't done a business together?" And I said, "Generally because you steal from everybody and never put any money in yourself." He said, "No, let's do one." And I said, "Okay." And then just at the time, Boy George, I don't know if you know Boy George, Culture Club. So he was walking by, and he was super stoned. And like he was always super stoned. And he said, "Tony, hey, you and Richard should do a business together." I said, "Richard, if Boy George says we should do a business together, we should do a business together." And then he said, "Okay, what should we do?" And I said, "I have this idea for a long-haul, low-cost airline." And that was how AirAsia X started. Then we have Philippines, India, and soon Japan. And I think it's pretty damn cool for my staff. Of the 14 years that we've been in existence, we've won the world's best low-cost carrier 8 times in a row, which is an unbelievable achievement. For a little company in Malaysia to take on the rest of the world and win it shows what Malaysians and ASEANs are capable of doing. And we never wanted protection. We never wanted, you know, as I've said recently in an article in Bloomberg, that if you want to be the best, you have to compete with the best. And you have to go out there and set your standards high. And while we have loads and loads and loads of things to improve, and we do, the best thing about us is honesty and transparency, that we don't hide from a complaint, we don't hide from the fact that we could be better, and we admit to, and we're not afraid of criticism. I always say to people, as you may have read, that criticism is free market research. Someone took their time to tell you you were rubbish. Many companies spend millions of dollars hiring expensive management consultants to tell them they're rubbish. While we do it the low-cost way. We use all our complaints and try and make it better. So one of the most important departments in AirAsia is actually run by Mimi Pua, is customer quality. And we know we have a lot of things we can get better. And we're trying very, very hard to get better using technology. And yeah, we're kind of one of the largest airlines in Asia. And we have the lowest cost in the world. So what's our secret? Okay, Blue Ocean Strategies. Can I introduce you to Benji? Benji does all the work for me. Stand up, Benji. He's an example of why AirAsia is so great. He was an intern from Taylor's, and then he said he wanted to be in investor relations, and we hired him, and he did a fantastic job because his boss went away she got pregnant, and 2 young boys were running the investor relations department, and we said, go for it. And they were very nervous and stuff. We said, no, you're smart, you're bright, you do it. And actually, they were the main catalyst of changing our stock price from 78 cents to, 3 ringgit or something today, right? They worked very, very hard. And then he was very smart. He befriended my PA, Jackie, who is the real power in AirAsia. And Jackie kind of made him his stepson, and then make him worked his way to now he's my assistant, and he does a fantastic job. But that is what AirAsia is all about. We give people a chance, and we allow people to turn from raw diamonds to diamonds. And that's what most of this presentation is about. Well, maybe not this slide. You can see I didn't look at this presentation. But yeah, we came up with a great product, right? Who doesn't want cheap travel? Who doesn't want to go to places that they never dreamt about? And then we came up with going to great places that no one ever thought about going. So marketing, innovation, whenever you say innovation, which is the third part of the Star Media Group, inform, debatable, inspire, very inspirational, and innovate, they're very innovative. But on the innovate part, innovation is not just about technology, as the Star have always continued to do. They've taken a boring newspaper and they've innovated in different ways to go to many different sections, and they use the internet and they use video content, etc., to reach people in many different ways. For me, innovation was how we manage people, developing a product that wasn't new. Low-cost carriers, I copied Southwest and Ryanair and EasyJet. But we innovated in marketing, we innovated in the way we had people, and the third part of innovation is technology. And from innovation, we decided to go to places that no one went before. So the man who's going to inspire his children has never been to Mauritius before. And we have gone to places that never went before. Bandung, as I mentioned at the beginning of the speech, was where I recorded music. And no one went to Bandung. One day I said, let's fly to Bandung. And everyone looked at me like, don't be crazy, Tony. And I said, it's a big town, great university, great shopping. Let's go there. I didn't do market research. I didn't look at ROI or whatever. Just let's go there. And our plane was too heavy that we had to park it at the Air Force Base because the terminal was really like a house. And now, today, we have 32 flights to Bandung, and they've rebuilt the airport, and every airline is going to Bandung, which shows you what you can do by being innovative and different. And we went to Macau. Everyone laughed at us when we went to Macau because we couldn't afford Hong Kong Airport. It was too expensive. So we went to Macau. I remember I did cheeky advertising in the Star. At least you have a low fare to take you home when you lose all your money. In the casino. You don't have to sell your watch or whatever else. And so when you look at your marketing, your product, there are many ways to sell your product. There are many ways to create new ideas. It's not just about technology. And 60% of our routes are routes that were never done before. Right? We flew to Tawau direct. No one had done that. Now we have 4 flights a day to Tawau, about to go to 5. We went to Sandakan. I never heard of Sandakan, right? All these routes, Penang, Kuching, Penang, KK. There's tons of routes that we've done that no one ever thought we could do. We flew to Aceh after the tsunami. I said people need connectivity. It's not about just writing a check and feeling good. So we put a flight to Aceh. When there was nothing in the town left, we put a flight to Aceh. And it's worked great. The Acehnese are so happy that they had some outside connectivity. We went to Naritawat, which was a terrorist area. And I said to the Thai government, we'll do it. Because you have to engage communities. Ostracizing them is wrong. What the French are doing is wrong at the moment. You can't isolate communities. You need to integrate and be inclusive. And so we went to Naritawat. It was like coming to a military zone. But it's been one of our most successful flights. And so my whole life has been about inclusiveness. And in our own little way, whether it's our staff, whether it's females, there were no female pilots in AirAsia, in Malaysia at the time. And I went to my chief pilot and said, why do we have no female pilots? And he came up with the most ridiculous answer in the world. And I said, if a woman can be CEO of Star Media Group, certainly we can have female pilots. And now we have 52, I think, female pilots. And the other day was history. We had captain was female, co-pilot was female, all the cabin crew were female, chief engineer was female, ground ops was female, and all the passengers were male. But to me, we were missing out 50% of the workforce. It's crazy. Irene is our CEO, our chief commercial officer is a woman. I don't care what race, sex, creed, color, religious affiliation. If you want to be the best, we will give you that opportunity to be the best. And so inclusiveness is something we're very, very proud about and we continue to do. After the Bali bomb, no one wanted to fly to Bali. The next day, every Malaysian was calling, cancel my flight, cancel my flight. I told my staff, we can't do that. This is the time the Balinese need us the most. And I think we worked with The Star actually at that time, and TV3. And we came up with Love Bali campaign. And again, I knew Malaysians very well. We came up with 5,000 free seats. Give a free seat, we're not scared about terrorists or bombs. Okay? Within half an hour, the 5,000 free seats were sold out. We are a tough, resilient bunch. Shopping, free seat, who cares about bombs, man? We're there. Now, the beauty of that is that we Malaysians, if we get a free deal, like you'd all go home and say, I got a free copy of The Star, we will tell 1,000 people about the free ticket. So really, the 5,000 people who went there actually created a marketing group of 5 million people for us. And they told everyone that Bali's fine. And so we were the only airline never to cancel a flight to Bali. And that's why the Bali and us are so linked, and they'll never forget. Because in times of crisis, that's when you need to be there. In time of crisis, banks should be supporting you. Banks are only great when you're doing well. But banks who have supported me at a time of crisis, I will never forget them. And so loyalty is a business culture that is now being forgotten. And so I urge you all to stay loyal to whatever you believe and to help your clients, customers at times of difficulty. That's the real brand value. That's when people will stay with you forever. And that is a quality that's declining by the day. And if you look at AirAsia, we have been with Airbus from the beginning. We've been with GE from the beginning. We will never leave GE because they, when the new engines came out, everyone was buying the Pratt & Whitney engine on the Neo. We were the first airline to buy GE. Because one, I knew they'd deliver. Two, I know they needed us to help them. And that's what we did. And so loyalty is something that is quickly disintegrating, but I think is very, very important in this day of business and age. And we're very loyal to The Star, who was with us when we were nobody. They would send press with us, they would take articles with us, they would help us in some of our battles because they thought it was good for the people. And so we will be loyal, and that's why I left Bali to come and see Chun Wai's thin body, etc. You have another 15 minutes. Don't worry, like AirAsia, I'll always be on time. 30 minutes for questions and answers. Can you come up here? You're doing all the hard work for your bosses. What's your name? Julianne, what do you do, Julianne?
Marketing and corporate communications.
Marketing and corporate communications. How long have you been in The Star?
7 months.
7 months. I think you should quit and join AirAsia. So, see Jackie, give your CV. We'll double your pay because you got balls bringing this up here. Give her a round of applause. Okay. 15 minutes. Jackie, please time. So, I wanted to say this because we're generally talking to a Malaysian audience. I've never talked about loyalty and stuff like that before, but I think it's a very important quality. If you're going to succeed in business, remembering who helped you when you were nothing is also very, very important, right? Oh, yeah, sorry. People. That's the single most important thing. AirAsia is what it is because of the people, because of the Benjis, because of the Jackies, because of the Charlenes of the world, that we give people a chance to do it. You all know these stories, so I won't repeat them. But, we have Coogan up there, who's just proposed. He was a dispatch boy in AirAsia, and now he's a first officer. We have many people around this company who have excelled in their careers when they never thought they were going to do. So give people a chance. It's amazing if you give people a chance how they can excel. you know, and I think that is the biggest asset you have in your company. We don't have so much bureaucracy. It's getting worse as we get bigger and bigger, but it's a pretty flat structure, and we allow people to be the best. And it doesn't matter whether you went to Oxford, Cambridge, you know, MSU, or you didn't go, or you left school at 13. As long as you want to be the best, we will allow you to be the best. And there are hundreds and hundreds of examples. You know, there's that girl up there, everyone knows the story, but I'll just repeat it. She was a cabin crew. She wanted to be a pilot. In a bar, she asked me when I was having a Ribena. And then she calls me up and says, hey, everyone says I'm really beautiful. Can I take part in Miss Thailand? I said, sure, interesting concept. If you win, I get to use your photograph for the rest of your life for free. She said yes, she won Miss Thailand, and she came 5th in Miss Universe. And so we're the only airline in the world with a Miss Thailand flying for them. Beat that, Singapore Airlines. But the moral of the story is not that. The moral of the story is that she had the courage to speak to me because we have a flat structure. No one in AirAsia hasn't got the ability to tell us what their dreams are or what they want to achieve. And I think that is the strength of our organization. And people have seen it time and time and time again that you can succeed in AirAsia. You know, our Singapore CEO, he approached me in Changi Airport and said to me, can I take a picture with you? He was wearing a stupid Singapore Airlines uniform. And I said, okay. And then he said, I'd love to work for you one day. I said, okay, if they allow me into the country, which was debatable at that time, because I was fighting with Singapore on the bus, I will interview you. And they allowed me in. Actually, the immigration officer asked for a picture with me as well. And the white woman behind said, who are you? Why are they taking a picture with you? I said, I'm just an irritating guy for the Singapore government. So they kind of find that amusing. And I interviewed Logan. He was a super smart guy. And I hired him on the spot. And we made him a station guy in Singapore. And now he is station manager, he's CEO of Singapore AirAsia, and he's doing an amazing job. The Singaporeans like me now, which is really down to Logan, because they've never really liked me before. And so that is our strength. Second lesson, to inform your biggest asset are the people in your company. Most Asian companies, the top 10 decide everything, and the rest are implementers. At AirAsia, anyone can make a decision, anyone can have an idea, and anyone has access to me. We don't have offices, we have desks, because everyone says they have an open door policy and then the door is always closed. We don't dress up. I dressed up today for the Star. Generally, we wear t-shirts and jeans, and if you look worse than your staff, they feel comfortable talking to you, right? If you come in with an Armani suit and you look like Chun Wai. Actually, Chun Wai is not a great dresser anyway. Still got the Chinese in him. Glow silk store outfit. You kind of put a distance between yourself, right? Gets me into problems in the airport sometimes because Malaysian airports thinks I'm a illegal Bangladeshi immigrant that's just bumped off Biman or something, but I live with that. So people. And you got that. I've talked about equal opportunity. Irene, who's done a phenomenal job for us, and we have Kathleen Tan, who's tearing up China, and so on and so forth. And we built the low-cost terminal. That was blue ocean. And that was a time Malaysian airports were a bit more blue. They've become a very red company now. But we're fighting that through, and we're getting there, right? AirAsia was created because of the low-cost terminal. You can't have low-cost fares without low-cost terminals. Simple, right? You can't have low fares. If every hotel in Malaysia was a 5-star hotel, then only a small number of people can stay. If every car in Malaysia was a Rolls Royce, How many of us in this room could afford that, apart from Douglas? No one else could, right? So airports is not one fit all. AirAsia was innovative in bringing a very successful American model to Asia, which has worked. 55 million people that wasn't flying before is flying now, or flying more. And we did that through an innovative business model. But we got to land somewhere. And so our partners, the airports, should encourage to build two types of airports. One that fits the Chunwais of the world that want to fly on business class and first class and have satay, etc., without paying for it. And one like BK Sidhu, who isn't paid enough in the Star, so has to fly on AirAsia and pay for her satay, right? We still owe her a flight to Punjab. Before I die, we will fly to the holy city, and you will pray for me and write nice things about me for the rest of my life. So that's what this battle is about, which for 15 years I've been fighting. And reporters will say to me, oh, aren't you tired fighting about this? Because it's my job. It's my job. I owe it to my staff. I owe it to the people of Malaysia, etc., to fight for people who've never been able to fly before. And if we have low-cost airports, the amount of jobs we would create in this country is huge. We had one in KK, now we lost it. Now our growth is going down in KK. And so we're fighting to build a low-cost terminal. We could have 5 or 6. We have beaten Singapore. Singaporeans are flying to Malaysia and then using us to go elsewhere because we're cheaper. Why kill it? So I will continue that battle, and I think I'm being heard, that there are 2 different airports. There are, you know. We wanted to build our own airport. People like Shan killed it when he was in the Edge, but I still love him, sort of. And so it's a simple model. One airport doesn't suit everyone. Our passengers don't need aero bridges. And if you need aero bridges, go use a full-service airline. Give people a chance to fly. We need simple facilities, right? So that more economic activity can come here. Look at what we've created. It's unbelievable. In 14 years, what we've created. And Malaysian airports should be kissing us every day. They should have a little Tony Fernandes statue every day. You know, like the Chinese God one in the box. And come and put the joysticks. And say, we love you, and you know, or maybe a Punjabi one, I don't know, I'm very flexible. Whatever. And so that message has to get out. It has to get out, that one doesn't suit all. If I am the owner of Malaysian airports, I would be doing whatever to grow AirAsia from 60 million passengers to 100 million passengers. Those 60 million passengers weren't there before, and the MAS passengers are still there. We've just come and expanded the market through low costs. No different from Uniqlo, no different from Myvi. Think of how many Myvis and how many cars people who didn't drive before because we brought a cheaper car. So that's all we're asking, and I think it would be a fantastic blue ocean strategy for Malaysia to have different airports. I mean, I saw in the Star the other day, Singapore Airlines was complaining. Why? Because we're beating them. We want to listen to Singapore Airlines? Let's think about it. Because they were the king. They were the hub before. We all flew to Singapore and went out. I couldn't believe that it was being reported that Singapore Airlines want parity charges. Why? All these years they've been taking passengers out. And we happily support them. And AAPA, don't even know who they are, saying that we need all these charges. Because we're winning, and foreign airlines are afraid of AirAsia. Why give it up, okay? So my own staff are telling me I've got 5 minutes left. Well, Star's a very controlled company. I need to get this message across because there are a lot of people here who don't fully understand that message. That we need to be blue ocean in airports. We are blue ocean in airlines. We are blue ocean in the way we treat our people. We are blue ocean in trying to do new routes. But we are super red ocean in airport policy. And that needs to change. And it would create more jobs, more economic activity, more advertising for the star, and more of whatever you do. So that's how it is. You can see our growth. And as soon as we had the low-cost terminal, how we grew. There we go. And the Japanese get it. And the Japanese are always smart. There are 3 low-cost terminals in Japan. By the way, I didn't hear Singapore Airlines complaining about Narita, where Terminal 3 is half the charges of the main terminal. I didn't see Asia Pacific Airlines Association or IATA complain about Narita in Terminal 3 or Osaka, etc. And in Heathrow, there are 4 airports. Different. Luton and Stansted are much lower cost. So there we go, and that's my dream. You know, we can be the Emirates and the Dubai of Asia. We can't be the Dubai of the world, because Dubai is right in the middle of the world. You can fly anywhere on Emirates. They've done an incredible job. They're an incredible airline. But we're right in the middle of Asia. Within 7 hours, we can fly anywhere. Up north, south, west, east. And so we want to say you can fly from Bandung to Xi'an, from Penang to Perth, right? All within one stop. Make KL the hub of the world, the LCC hub. And I think we've agreed with MAB now, we're going to call it LCC at KLIA2. That's okay. You see, we've screwed Shan's brain so much because he started off with KLIA2 and then he ended up with LCC. So the branding works, right? So in true Malaysian compromise style, we will do LCC at KLIA2. Because I want to make sure it is low cost. Because that's what drives it. No point giving us a low fare and then you have really expensive airport tax. The ERL is crazy. 55 ringgit. It's cheaper to fly to Singapore than take the ERL. I couldn't believe it when I paid for it the other day. So okay, that's the dream. But always remember, how many more minutes have I got? 2 minutes. See, I'm right on time. Whatever you do in your life, have fun. And my dream came true that my boss, who gave me the chance, finally ended up working for me. Richard Branson.
Thank you very much, Tan Sri, for the very informative and insightful, but more importantly, highly entertaining presentation. And by the way, Tan Sri, just to let you know, I was formerly
Jackie, can you frame this one?
That's it. You want to know this, Tan Sri?
Sorry?
You want to know this?
Yeah.
More importantly, I was formerly from SIA.
You were formerly from SIA?
Yes, I am.
You didn't look like that when you were in SIA?
Do I look like a robot?
Okay.
Please take your seat in your stage, please. And we'd like to invite Shan to kindly join Tan Sri on stage. And before that, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this video, Star 24 Hours.
Media Group. 45 years of inspiring Malaysians.
Have you noticed that every voiceover in Malaysia sounds the same?
Mass production cheaper lah. Okay, it's question time now. Some basic rules. Just state your name and where you're from. You know, and just keep the question concise, precise, so that we can have as many questions as possible. We have heard him speak about his, his journey and his really immensely fantastic marketing skills. So, okay, can we have the first question?
Yes,
okay, there are a lot of names. Okay, maybe we can have the gentleman there first. Then we'll come down lower.
Tan Sri, first of all, thank you for allowing my family to fly. Mauritius truly is a place that I've never been. Thank you. So my name is Chin. I'm actually from KL. So my first question to you, Tan Sri, is what actually keeps you awake as a group CEO for such an amazing company? And the second question is what actually drives you to work every day with someone who has been so successful? Thank you.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a managing director for Johnson & Johnson in Malaysia.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, thank you. Referring to your questions about loyalty, I've been working for Johnson & Johnson for the last 19 years as a first job.
Very good.
Yeah, for myself.
Cool.
Thank you.
Johnson & Johnson is the baby stuff, right? Healthcare. Very good. The powder. I remember my mum would put it all over me to make me look whiter. Send me one for memory's sake. What was the question? Oh yeah, okay.
What drives you to work, right?
What drives me to work? It sounds corny, but it's true. It's like meeting all of you. You'll see me at the terminal a lot. I love going around, meeting people, taking pictures. When I go on the plane, I always say I'm not going to do it, but I always do it. Because I'll walk the entire plane and meet everybody. And it's not always good. People will have complaints, etc., etc. But the energy I get from our guests, the immense energy I get from my own staff, they really amaze me at how they keep doing incredible things. It keeps me going, and it's fun. Someone just texted me, and I said to her, I should enjoy my life a bit more. And she said, you do. You love being in AirAsia. That's where you're happiest. And she's probably right. So that kind of keeps me going. What keeps me up? Wow. Some I can say here, some I can't. But nerves from Chun Wai here. But really nothing anymore, to be honest. I've been through everything. Obviously the worst thing being QZ8501 was really the worst thing that could ever happen to, generally we have people's lives in their hands, and it was devastating for me and still is devastating. It's always in my thoughts. And so that used to be the thing I'd say to people, that scares me if that ever happened to AirAsia. And it has. Does that mean I'm immune to it? No, it scares me that it could happen again. No airline could ever say they're safe. But safety is a marathon. It's a continual process, right? So nothing really. I think external factors, I think we live in dangerous times in the world. Kind of keeps me up. But I advise people not to think too much about that, because it's out of your control. You manage for the day, and you manage for tough times. I always tell my staff, we're doing great now, but I've got to make sure we're doing great in 3 years' time. So I have to make decisions now for 3 years. So I don't lose too much sleep about what's going to happen, because it's not in your control. You control what you can, and in that instance, I don't lose any sleep. It's external factors that worry me, but I can't do much about that, so I manage as best as possible.
And it's great that you were with the company for 19 years. And it's great that you've risen all the way to become CEO. And it's great that Johnson & Johnson allow you to have a hairstyle like that. Enjoy Mauritius. See Jackie at the end, and she'll sort you out. And we expect lots of photographs and stuff when you go there, right? And promise me you'll allow your children to do what they want to do.
Okay, yeah, yes, gentlemen. Yeah, after him. Don't worry, I've not forgotten you at the top there. Don't worry.
Hello, Mr. Tony and everybody here. It's nice to meet you live. This is one of my dreams. Okay, I just want to bend the rule a little bit. I have one question, one offer, and one request. I came this morning.
You have one question. And
it's all one. It's all one.
One question.
The request is this.
Request.
I told my son that I'm coming to meet you today. You don't believe me? I really want to take a photo with you.
Yeah, sure, no
all right?
problem. Done.
He's taking UPSR soon, so I hope to inspire him through that photo.
It can be done after this.
The offer is this. It's great that you give 5 for free to all the gold Olympiads in the world. I mean, in Asia, I think. Schooling was one of it, right? Yeah. But the media the Singapore media is making fun of you. It's like, yeah, fly for free, but you got to pay the rest. Yeah. You know. So the offer is that if you decided to drop the offer, can you give the offer to me? Because I had a heart of gold to tell you that. And the question is this: when are you going to decide to stop everything and become a philanthropist? You know, and then yeah, that's my question.
So when is going to call it a day and donate everything away?
No. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't think you need to stop, and I think we are a philanthropist every day. We give jobs. I think the best thing I've ever done in AirAsia is to give jobs and give careers. So philanthropy doesn't mean just writing a check and feeling good. Bill Gates writing 50 billion. I think I can achieve more now by helping people in where we are, by inspiring, by doing different things, etc., etc. So philanthropy is not just about writing a check and feeling good. It's about changing. It's about changing workplaces. I think, I've just joined the Global Council of Amnesty. I feel very strongly about the death penalty. So I think that while I'm in AirAsia, I can actually have a louder voice on some issues. So I continue to do what I can. When will I give it up and give it all away, or just focus on philanthropy? I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead in time. But we have a little foundation now, which is really focused on 2 things. One is not just writing a check, but giving money for people to help themselves. So social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship really makes me excited. These are fantastic people. These are the greatest people on the earth, right? They do business to help communities without making profit. So AirAsia Foundation, run by Munching, has done an incredible job of resurrecting the Cambodian ballet, of helping silversmiths in Jogja, coffee plantation in North Thailand, the hill tribes, etc., etc., etc. So I don't have an exact date, but I think all corporate CEOs and business leaders can be philanthropic every day. And sometimes it can be more useful being in the company and continuing to do what you do. Okay, and we'll take the picture later.
Okay, the question at the top there. Yeah, what's your name, young man?
Hello, my name is Muhammad Shaidan, and I'm 18 years old. I'm studying in TAUC. My question is that we all know that you have faced a lot of problems, right? We see that loyalty has been degrading for the past recent years. But as a youngsters, how can you foresee we can counter this kind of issues?
Counter loyalty. I think it's up to you. It's whether you believe that's the way to go forward. We have Johnson & Johnson, 19 years, he's been loyal to the company. Many of the star employees have been there since time. And loyalty is not something you can be taught. It's really up to you. And if people are not loyal around you, that's their choice. But it starts with you. If you want to have that principles, if you believe in those principles, if you believe in certain principles, while you may not influence others, at least if you start, you make a difference to others. So I can't change the thinking of everyone in Malaysia. I can't. I have very strong views on some things. I have very strong views on multiculturalism. I have very strong views. So rather than just talk about it, I do it. So, and then maybe that will inspire other people to follow us, right? So it's up to you to believe what your principles of life are, stand true to it, be proud about it, and you will inspire others to be it. And if others don't follow you, that's their loss. But I think at least you can go to bed every night with, I'm the best that I can be. Okay? Good luck in your degree.
Okay. Yeah. The lady there? Yes.
Wow, you guys are really high up, man.
Hello. Good afternoon, Tony. My name is Jean.
Hi, Ginny.
I do property retail management.
You do property what?
Retail management.
Oh, property retail
so this
management.
is actually,
what's that? Oh, you manage the shopping mall kind of
correct.
things. Right, okay.
Okay, so this is actually business development questions. Yeah. I have two. One, connectivity is always an issue in KL. Yeah. So from the airport right down to Bukit Bintang, at minimum it will take about 2 hours. Do you have any plans to start a copter service from KLA right to Bukit Bintang? Right now there's a copter service available in Taman Titi Wangsa. They just started it, I think, last week. DBKL is supporting it. But the thing is, this copter service brings you around just for a tour. It doesn't serve any other purpose. So that's one. The second thing is, right now with the rise of Uber, connectivity is actually very easy. You want to book a ride, within 5-10 minutes you get it. How is AirAsia going to ride on this trend and allow all of us to book a flight to Bali in the next 2 hours?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Let's do the first one first. No. I'm not starting a helicopter service. It'll be more than the ERL. It's a good idea, but I haven't not heard of a low-cost helicopter service yet. But I also think that connectivity is going to improve. Actually, just driving here, seeing Glenmarie Station, KL is going to become easier to move around, which is great. We're going to have high-speed rails to Singapore, et cetera, et cetera. And contrary to belief, I'm a supporter of the high-speed rail. I think as long as it's priced appropriately, I think it's great. Anything that spurs economic development is good, and I support it. So helicopters, not for me, maybe for one of the entrepreneurs around here. They tried it in Jakarta. That's where they really need it, because you can be stuck there for like 5 hours. But I do believe connectivity in KL is going to improve with all the new ERLs and LRTs and MRTs and all the Ts. It will get better. Uber. I'm a massive fan of Uber, Grab Taxi, etc. I'm a big believer in the sharing economy. I really am. From Airbnb to Uber, et cetera, and we're working very closely with Uber right now. And you can't hold technology back. Will there be an Uber plane? The only problem with that, I think it's a great idea, and we're going to do some things like that, just one-offs, just for fun, is that planes need approvals to fly and routes and all that thing. We're not quite as flexible as cars, where you can just move around. But one day, maybe. I wouldn't say it's out of the question.
Okay, actually, what I was trying to say was that if the plane were taking off at 7, and I wanted to book for a seat on that flight at 5 o'clock, would that be possible?
Yeah, you can do it now. 2 hours before, we still sell the seats.
Okay.
But it's a high price.
It's no longer low cost.
See, our revenue model works on the earlier you book, the cheaper.
Okay.
The later,
yeah. A lot of questions, okay, yeah.
Wow, it's great to see a Malaysian audience so participative.
A lot of questions. Okay, yeah.
Moderator doesn't know where the hell to go.
Right. Oh, here.
Hi.
Morning, Tan Sri. My name is Yasoda.
Just call me Tony.
All right then. Morning, Tony.
Yeah.
The question is, it's probably reflected in the company and what you shared, but what are your personal core values and beliefs?
Oh, wow. Well, I kind of said it, but meritocracy. I believe that everyone should be given a chance. And meritocracy all the way down, that if you left school at 13, but you're super smart, you should still be given the chance to compete. I believe in transparency, fairness, a sense of fairness. So we try and tell our staff everything so they know everything. Sometimes I'm criticized for being too open, but I rather that. Honesty, you know, really, that's a really important pillar for us. That's about it, really, and have fun. I love to have fun. You know, any excuse to have a party, any excuse to have some fun, I'll do it. Those are the kind of core values, really. Believe the unbelievable, we say. Allow people to dream and do whatever they want to do. Okay?
Okay, yeah, there are a lot of questions. Okay, the young people here, yeah, young people. Yeah, just hold on a minute.
Hello,
Hi.
and good afternoon.
What's your name?
My name is Nur Eliza. I'm from MSU. MSU
Great.
student. Okay, for the first question, I love your idea when you say you want to turn raw diamond into the real diamond.
Yeah.
But how you can make that people believe they can do it? Okay? Because I try in my family, I see the potential in my family, but I fail to make them confident and believe that they can do it. I hope you can share that. Thank you.
Okay. Wow.
Good question.
You have to spend a lot of time with me. How do I answer that question?
How do you inspire others?
Actually, you should ask my own staff how we managed to do it. It's not easy just to answer that question. When I told Irene she can be CEO, she came back with the first, like, oh no, cannot, I'm not sure. Normal Malaysian response, right? Now she's like an animal as CEO. So you just got to keep pushing it and keep making people believe. And in the end, you just got to do it. You got to force them to do it, right? So, you know, Benji had to do a presentation for the president of Indonesia in 1 hour. And I could see him looking at me like, no, I can't do it. But he doesn't have the courage to say that because I'll hit him. So, but he did it, right, in 1 hour. So you got to, he didn't think he could do it. So he wanted to say, I can't do it. But I won't accept that because I know he has the potential to do it. And it was funny, right, because we saw President Jokowi, and he gave me a really lousy, black and white, terribly printed document. And so I twisted it. And I said, oh, sir, we're a low-cost airline. We couldn't afford a color presentation. But then just before the presentation ended, he delivered it. He got it through security. You have to go like to 10,000 people in Istana in Indonesia to get it. And we got it. Just at the end of the presentation, I got the color presentation. So you just got to push your family to believe they can do it. And you just got to do it and take a risk, take a chance. Every human being has massive potential. It's whether they want to do it or not, and whether they believe they can do it. But you have to inspire them to want them to do it. What do you want to do? Take my job.
I know. Okay, my dream is I want to be a princess.
Princess?
Yeah, maybe people will laugh at me. Maybe it's childish. But princess is a holistic person. They have wealth, they have knowledge, they have skill. And people trust on her, a princess. And they can help other people also.
Cool. Good luck in finding the king.
No,
there are
I
many
don't
of them
need a
around.
king.
Do you know I met the king of Swaziland the other day? He had 15 wives.
Never mind. But the main point is I want to help other people.
Great. That's the most important thing. Good luck. Love you too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I'm rotating. I'm going to go up again.
Sorry,
okay,
sir.
yeah.
But my friend have one question.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, she's helping her friend.
Okay. Okay, after that. After that. No, after that. Just give me. Okay, one question, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, hi Tony.
Hi.
My name is Adli.
Hi, ID.
I'm from MSU student.
Yep.
So I'm currently in biomedical science student.
Oh, wow, what's that? Make a new man.
Okay, so my question is very simple. How can I be a part of AirAsia?
Sure. If you can make me robotic pilots, you can join tomorrow. Just email us. My email is tonyfernandes@airasia.com, or you can speak to Jackie or Benji, and they'll tell you how to email us, what you want to do, and then we'll take it from there. Okay?
Okay, we go right up, then we'll come down again.
Hello, Mr. Tan Sri.
Hi.
My name is Yuden. I'm
Hello, Mr. You want to say Tony, then Tan Sri.
I thought it was more appropriate.
No problem. You say whatever you're comfortable with.
Mr. Tony.
All right.
Okay, I'm from Glen Mary, which is like a stone throws away from where you started. So
Yeah.
my question for you is, do you provide any academic scholarships for non-pilots? And if you do, if you haven't, are you willing to be a not sugar daddy? Are you willing to give any scholarships to students who are maybe
I certainly
willing to,
wouldn't be a sugar daddy to you, that's for sure. If you'd had a sex change, maybe. Do we give? Yeah, we do sometimes. We're not very consistent at it. It depends on the person, depends on what you want to do. But yeah, we do. So give it a go.
And so how do we apply?
Just speak to Jackie. Okay?
Oh, can we speak to you?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to take it off.
What do you do?
I'm still doing my diploma.
In what?
IB. International Baccalaureate.
Oh, okay. So how old are you? 16, 17?
I'm 19 this year, actually.
19.
I'm kind of old, but...
You want a scholarship to do what?
I was thinking aeronautical engineering,
okay.
so I can work for you.
Yeah,
It's a win-win situation.
Hey, if we give you a scholarship, you're definitely working for us. Just to let you know how it works. All right. We'll talk later.
Okay, so
cool.
thank you.
Okay, yeah, right at the end. Right at the end, yeah. Okay.
Hi, Tony. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Major Murali Bhaskaran.
Ah, yeah, I know you.
Yeah, you know me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I met you during the Lima 2011.
Yeah.
As well as I did my degree program under AirAsia as well.
Right.
Thank you very much. My question is, I left the Royal Malaysian Air Force, and I'm the founder of the Global SAR Resources Sdn Bhd. We do conduct training as well as conferences. And this year we had a 5th international conference in Kuala Lumpur, search and rescue conference. I did email to you, but there is no answer, as well as to Jackie.
Major, can we have the question?
Nevertheless, we are going to organize another one in India, Chennai, India, the 6th International Search and Rescue Conference on the...
You definitely need to be search and rescued when you go to India.
Yes, exactly. And we would like you to be one of our speakers during the 6th International Search and Rescue Conference in India, that is on the 13th and 14th of July.
Is that the question?
We want you to be a speaker on QZ8501. You did an excellent job on search and rescue in Indonesia compared to our MH370, to be very frank. You did an excellent job. I would like to know if you're willing to be a speaker in
Can
our
we have the
upcoming...
question, please, Major? There are a lot of people here waiting to ask questions.
Okay. My question is, I want Tony to be a speaker.
Okay. Okay, we got it. Okay, we'll take it offside. Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Bye.
Okay. Question? Okay, yeah. He has been asking for a long time, yeah.
Good afternoon, Tan Sri. My name is Nataraja Murthy. I am an associate professor in MSU, Forensic Sciences. I am from India.
I guessed.
From Madurai. My hometown is Madurai. It is
good place.
Yeah, it is my long grievances, Tan Sri. I have been talking to many people there.
Yeah.
So here, I was in Malaysia for nearly 13 years. Previously, I was in University of Science, Malaysia as forensic lecturer. So before that, I was a CSI, crime scene investigator in India. I go to the real crime scene.
Can we get
my question is, there is a, after the launching AirAsia, I prefer only AirAsia. I never travel any other flight.
Like you,
but
Professor.
We have a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Chennai, Kuala Lumpur to Trichy.
Why not Madurai? Ask your government.
Yeah. No, I just asked even our parliament.
We have no more rights, so we're looking to get more rights. And Madurai didn't have immigration, but now they do. But now we've run out of air rights, so we're waiting for the Indian government to give us more rights.
Okay.
I want to go to Madurai, definitely, and you'll be the first passenger on the flight.
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Okay,
thank you.
Dato', you want to ask a question? Yes. Okay, the question was, what was the biggest lesson learned from the crash?
Yes, what was your biggest lesson that you learned? Well, if you can share your thoughts and emotions.
I hope the rest of you also will keep your questions short like that, so, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really well, many things. But the main thing was that I think honesty and transparency is still the most important thing, quality. And I think as a leader, you have to be there. There is no compromise. I had to be there for my staff. I had to be there for the relatives. And you had to be accessible. You cannot be guarded by 50,000 people around you, et cetera, et cetera. You got to be honest, transparent, and deal with it, you know. So that's what I learned. There are lots of things I learned, but that's the main one.
Yes, the gentleman there, right? Yeah.
Good morning, Tony. My name is Yap. I'm from KL as well. I'd like just to ask something on the personal side. What do you like, your personal interests, and what do you like to eat? You know, we don't have questions like that. So just want to know your personal side.
Okay, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. To be slim, but now I see even Chun Wai can be slim. Food is so damn bloody good in Malaysia, right? That's the problem, because we have everything. Malay, Chinese, Indian, Malaysian, everything, right? So I like all food, as you can see from my stomach. What's my really favorite food? Well, it's really tough, actually, because I have so many. But I hate rice. I love rice. Anything with rice, I love rice. Fried rice, biryani rice, anything rice, right? And so I love food here. Malaysian, I say Malaysian food, which is a mixture of Chinese, Indian, everything, mama, whatever, right? Roti canai is probably my favorite. Well, now you're getting me really thinking. But I'm trying to lose weight, so it's the hardest thing in the world I have ever done. But I'm really determined, and if Chun Wai can do it, then I can. So he's motivated me today. What was the other thing? My personal interest: music, sport. Those music really is probably. I love music, and I've always got time with it. And I love going out and meeting people. So quite simple interests. I don't have like skydiving or cycling around Malaysia or mountain biking and all that kind of stuff. I'm fairly simple in my likes. Do you own a restaurant? I was hoping for a free meal.
Okay, we are down to the last few questions. Yeah, okay.
Well, you gotta give yourselves a round of applause. I've never seen an audience with so many questions, right? It's very cool.
Yeah, just try one.
How are we doing for time?
We're down to 5 minutes.
5 minutes. How come you didn't give him a note? Very unfair.
They like me.
Oh, you text him, did you? All right.
Hi, Mr. Tony.
Hi, man.
I'm Abdin from, I'm a tourism and hospitality management student in MSU. So I would like to ask you, what is your tips for young people for me to start a business, and how to fight dogma, people perception of, they want me to be a doctor or engineer, but I want to do what I'm the most passionate of.
Well, just do it. There's no other answer, really. It's your life, you got to do it. My daughter, who's in advertising, was arguing with me about something, and I was trying to recommend to her what I would do. And she basically said, it's not your life. I said, well, you asked me. But ultimately, she's got to decide what she wants to do. And I told her, I give you my advice, but it's your call. And life is about, she threw it back to me and said, if I make a mistake, that's what you say. You say it's okay to make mistakes and try. And I said, yeah, try, but try and avoid them if you can. But ultimately, it's your life, so you got to go and do it. What do I advise young people? Wow, I tried to do that in the last 1 hour. So basically, follow your heart. Don't give up. Don't listen to other people. If you really believe it, like she wants to be a princess, no one's going to believe her, but she wants to be a princess, so she's got to go and do it. And if she becomes a princess and a queen, be a good one. And same for you. Just you got to follow your heart. It's the best advice I can give anyone. And don't worry about failure. If you fail, try again. If you don't try, you never know. Right? You don't want to sit there at 60, 55 and say, I wish I did it, because it's too late. And it's amazing what you can do. Don't think about being a billionaire or a millionaire and all that. Then you will fail. Just think about being successful and being the best. No one remembers people who come second. They don't. If I ask you, in the recent Olympics, who came second in the 100 meters, you don't know. You only know Bolt, right? People who come second, it doesn't last very long. And so be the best, enjoy what you do, try everything. If you fail, you fail. So what? At least you try and try again. Never give up, right? 15 years on, I'm still talking about building our own airport or terminals or whatever. And I will continue to do that if that's what I believe in. I may not succeed, but I'll keep on doing it.
Okay, no, I got to give priority. You know, they walked 4 flights up. So, yes.
Hello, Tony. It was a pleasure listening to you.
Hi, are you from India also?
Yes, sir, I'm from India. Actually, I'm a lecturer in MSU currently.
Okay.
I just want to know that who is your role model in the early part of your life, and how does that
My
person...
My mom.
Mother.
100% my mother.
Okay. And how does he impacted your life?
You know, she is an incredible woman, right?
Mhm.
She could, and my father was a cool dude as well.
Mhm.
They were very opposite.
Mhm.
And I understood why Indians don't get on with each other. Because she was from the south, he was from the north, and they always just criticized each other.
Okay.
You know, you Tamil bitch, Goan bastard, etc. So, my father was a conservative doctor, left-wing orientation. My mother was a raving capitalist. And so it was an amazing childhood that I grew up. But she just believed she could do anything, right? She never was afraid of anything. She was a music teacher in Bukit Bintang Girls' School, and then built this big Tupperware empire, and then went up and built Pyrex. And the power of, what did I learn from her? The power of motivation. How she could motivate 600 kampong ladies into selling Tupperware and Pyrex. How she could bring Indians, Chinese, and Malays together to sell Pyrex through songs. And so communication and the power of motivation is amazing. And she never believed she couldn't do anything. You know, she was a fantastic piano player. And when Ray Charles came to Malaysia, it's an amazing story, this. She just called up the Hilton Hotel and said, Ray, I'm going to have a party. Do you want to come over? I'll send the car over. And he came, right? And she was jamming with Ray Charles. And fast forward, Ray Charles was a Warner Music artist, and he comes to Malaysia, and he still remembers my mum. You know, so you can do anything you want to do. That's what she taught me. And she taught me that the biggest asset is people. And I saw how she could motivate people and drive people forward. And it's funny, you know, our CFO, Rajazmi before, he's not with us anymore, he remembered me playing the piano, because his mother was a Tupperware dealer. You know, and he remembered throwing up in my father's car and all these things. So Yeah, long answer to a short question. I think she was probably the biggest influence of my life. But I had two fantastic parents who, were never always happy with my behavior because I kind of did what I wanted to do. But in the end, they kind of supported me.
Yes. Last two questions. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm from Subanjaya. My one question is, what's one place I should travel to before I die?
Where do I want to travel to before I die? Well, I'm not planning on dying anytime soon. So I'll just try and travel as much as possible. I don't know, actually. Never really thought about it. I did say, I've never been to Rio. And I said the last flight I want to do on AirAsia is Rio de Janeiro. So we go from KL to Lisbon, Lisbon to Rio, and then I want to play football on the Copacabana beach, and then I can retire peacefully. There's nothing I'm in a lucky position that I can probably fly wherever I want to fly. But there's no one that really, I say, like, I really want to go there. I got to go there before I die. But I'd like to go to Rio and retire in Rio on the Copacabana.
Look, I got to give the last question to the lady right at the top. She's been holding her hand, I think, for the last 10 minutes. Okay.
Hi, Tan Sri. I'm Jai, and I just graduated recently from UCSI University under the Food Science and Nutrition. So,
oh, wow. Can you make me thin?
Because I know AirAsia is like fly here, fly there, so they go there and eat their stuff, so their food might be infected with bacteria. So I'm concerned about your teams, your companies, the people, their health, and their intestinal health. So won't you like...
Are you concerned about me as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
so it's like, won't you like find a sponsors company, like sponsor them every month? They have one bottle of probiotics or something like that, so to ensure their health every day. Or you can just build a nutritionist team in your company.
Okay, here's the problem. One is we're building a new office which will be ready, according to Irene, at the airport next month, October. And it's not sinking. It's on time, on budget, and it's not sinking. The only bit that's not built is the road to the office, which is built by Malaysian Airports. But the rest of it is on time. And we're very focused on the type of food. We're very focused on healthy food, gluten-free, all kinds of stuff, right? We're also very focused on people not smoking. But people do. And people still put rubbish into their stomach, which includes me. So what we can do, and if you want to help us, Jackie will introduce you to our catering team and in-flight team, is education. I've learned a lot about food. Someone gave me a personal trainer. He taught me a lot about food. And I'm a lot smarter now. I really didn't realize that sugar is really killing you. Because I used to eat like 17 bars of chocolate in one day, right? So if you want to help us and educate, but it's like going back to the loyalty question. I can tell people what to do. I tell Douglas, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. I tell him many things that he never listens to me. But he still does. So if you want to help us, Jackie will introduce you to our head of in-flight and our catering guys, and we can start an informative program with our staff. So it's great. I love Malaysians, by the way. 50% of the questions are questions. The other 50% are requests.
Yeah, exactly.
You really have not let me down.
Okay, look, we are running out of time.
One last question over there.
Okay, yes, okay. Yeah, can you shout out? Oh, okay, I can hear you.
Hi, Ryan. Yeah.
All your tickets for 20,000 kilometers and beyond will be sent to this website 72 hours before flight. 10,000 kilometers and beyond, 48 hours, and domestic and 2,000 kilometers beyond will be 24 hours to this website. The purpose of this is to increase the load factor of the AirAsia flights, and at the same time you sell tickets at a price where a lot of unfortunate people who cannot otherwise afford would now be able to afford to fly at a sustainable rate to AirAsia, which your plane flies, and yet at the same time it's symbiotic to both parties. AirAsia gets an additional ticket sold, and at the same time someone gets to fly. So we are looking at a robotic website that will be able to control the last minute unsold tickets to increase load factor, ROI, the word that you don't like for AirAsia, and for the so-called public, for the travelers, a chance to fly. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, drop us a note. It is something that we've been looking at for a long, long time.
So that's another request.
That's another.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much,
Can
Tan Sri.
I have one last request?
Of course.
My request?
Yes.
Okay. Can Star give me 1 year free advertising?
Not my call.
I'll leave that between you, Tan Sri, and Dato' Sri.
Last minute, all the pages you haven't sold, give it to me.
On that note, I'd like to invite
Email
Dato'
me.
Sri Wong Chun Wai to kindly come up on stage to present a token of appreciation to Tan Sri Tony.
Token of appreciation, free advertising for 1 year. Oh, no, it's just a picture.
It's a picture of you because you're so handsome. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give a big, big round of applause to Tan Sri Tony Fernandes?
Thank you.